For this video, I'm going to be taking a spin on a green and yellow Fires of Creation deck. Now, if you're not familiar with Fires of Creation, it's that path that you probably gloss over if you don't play a lot of artifacts, but it's really, really cool and it's interesting, and it does a neat thing in that it replaces the card draw that you get from some of the other paths with just kind of creating expendable creatures, but the minions kind of scale as the game goes on. They get bigger and bigger, so there's kind of like this impending finality to this particular path, and it can be a lot of fun. So I thought I would at least show off what it's capable of, or what it's potentially capable of. This is a deck testing video after all, and there's a chance I just go 0-2 because I put up my games win or lose. The yellow is going to be pretty straightforward. You do have to cut back on a couple of staples, so I'm only running 2 mazes, for example, and that's because you have to make room to jam in all the artifacts. So we are running helms, jamming satellite, model of duality. We're also running the builder because we want to help out our artifacts, and he also just gets bigger when you play artifacts. We are running rings. We are still running the serpent dens because there's a lot of ways to kind of like buff your board in this, as you'll see, besides just ollama ring. So going to the green side of things, again, some staples, right? Kolobok is good. Born Again is annoying to deal with. A couple of detained. 4 of the nesting dolls, but again, because it's an artifact, it really helps. Samosek, spellflux, cauldron is here as well. And this is that other side of things when I talked about buffing your board. I'm also running 4 copies of Academy Recruitment because this is a great way to kind of fill your board to take advantage of things like ollama ring, but also because it's a spell, it will trigger spellflux cauldron as well, and then traitorous murmur. So this is what we're running. I would love to find a version that also fits in something like Bald Mountain, but this is a hard deck to build in my opinion because you have to run kind of like a critical mass of artifacts to get value out of the Fires of Creation, but you still have to run enough other stuff in your list to make up for the fact that you're just playing so many artifacts. So that being said, we're just gonna go jump right onto the ladder. Whoa, that was not what I wanted. I wanted ranked because I like donating my ranked points when I play new builds. I really should, I've been putting it off, and I've talked about this in other videos, but I really should just grind a mithril so that I have like a floor, and I keep not doing that, so I keep going backwards whenever I want to try stuff out, but I'm stubborn and I don't like to try things out in the casual ladder. I just feel like if you really want to know if something's viable, you got to throw it to the wolves. So if I lose RP, I lose RP. I also have potentially the opposite of ladder anxiety. Like, I just legitimately don't care about my ladder placement, at least right now. Maybe someday in the future I'll care, but I just don't. All right, waiting for the player that we have found to join the game here. Oh, and of course we get Nick. All right, well, we'll say hello. We're probably gonna get dumpstered here. Oh yeah, they're running the bite, huh? They're gonna be on like red-green aggro with bite and some other enchantments to make use of this, I wonder. Let's send this back. I actually don't think I want to use one of these effigies yet. Cycling it makes an awful lot of sense, but if we're gonna end up playing Spellflux Cauldron, these are nice activators. Oh, green, blue, huh? So this is going to take some damage here, but I think it's still correct. And then it will also give us our first forgeling that we can just use to chump block for now, I suppose. And we can choose an artifact to put on the top of our deck. Let's actually grab this sword here. And so yeah, the bite here is going to be a bit of an issue without us having like an ollama ring. And the fact that it's 2 thanes here also is a bit of an issue. So normally you whittle people down with just like little chump blockers, right? But that's not going to be the case here. It's not going to be the case at all. A couple of different ways that we could approach this. I think getting a long-term blocker here might make sense. Because this doesn't have agile yet. Means we're going to take some damage, but I still think that's probably correct. And maybe next turn we can develop our living sword. I was kind of hoping that we would draw another green card so that we don't have to burn any of the ones we have. We would ideally like to get a hold of all 3 of these as far as putting them into play at some point, but we might end up getting forced to burn that. And this is whenever an enemy minion dies, so you can't like keep trading into this. You have to kill it all in one go. Okay, so the Bragi is really good for them and really not good for us. Like, not in the least bit. Yeah, that builder didn't do much to help us there either, did it? We're gonna go ahead and cycle this just to see if we can find anything, and we did not. Alright, well, we're gonna go ahead and cycle this then, I suppose. See if we can find anything. Found a kolobok, but we'll burn that and develop. I mean, at this point, let's go with the sword. I mean, we can also buff something with this, but it does nothing right now for us, really. So the cauldron is pretty much burnable at this point. Since we lost our activators, we kind of had to cycle them to find potentially some better things. I mean, we might hold on to it if we want to make this slightly bigger as we try to find a way to deal with this board. Like a misanthropia would be phenomenal for us, which is another one of the reasons that I started cycling through cards. Oh, yeah, okay, we're going to take a lot of damage here. And it's a bit of a bummer, too, because this would have potentially died. But because of the overrun will not, and then when these die, this fully heals up again, so kind of a shame, really. I mean, Sapo's a great card. It's not one that is helping us a ton at the moment. So that's got to go. And so I think here we got to go with something like that. And something like this. So again, we're just trying to stall. All of these are solid. I'm inclined to take the helm, even though we're not really using it. It's the cheapest of the bunch. But it's also, like, not really what we want to draw. But I suppose it's the cheapest of the bunch. It's also got the most durability. So, Model of Duality is another reason why I like to run the max number of Academy recruitments, if you're wondering in that regard as well. Ouch. Alright, so the doll goes. Yeah, I just don't think we can beat this. We already know what our draw is going to be, so that's going to be game. Wow. We got trounced, gang. But these Thanes in particular were a problem, because they are very specifically a kind of a hard counter for us. And so even though I can play a blocker, for example, I would soak 3, but then I'm gonna take another 6 on top of that, which would be 9. This trade's here, and so that's gonna be it, gang. I mean, we'll go through the motions here. Yeah. Murmur would have potentially helped, but we do this and then we still lose. Yeah, the Thanes, again, are a bit of an issue because for your early game, you kind of play this similar to Orange, where you play a bunch of very small bodies and you're kind of hoping to just chump block and slowly take out your opposing players' minions with attrition. But these just never die to the attrition, so you can win this any number of ways. Simple trade and swing gets it done. Impel here would have got it done. So we'll go into the next game and hope that they don't start with double Thane openers, because that was a bit of a problem. Again, maybe we win that if we have a misanthropia. It was a little unfortunate that we didn't have that in hand, though you can't really count on that. But in that scenario, they were a bit low on cards, so there is a chance that a misanthropia at the right time there would have been good enough, potentially. But that was unfortunate. That was brutal. Alright, it's going to look for another opponent. Now, if I lose this next one, I'm probably going to get demoted. I think if you're at 0 points and then you lose, it does demote you. So I got a bit of a buffer there that last game. I probably should have lost more points than what I did, but I only lost 12 because it put me at the floor of gold 5. So we really need to not lose this. Oh, Zenkarn. Had to go and be a decent player. And on top of that, just like for the record, not only is it a decent player, but it's let's just do this. I don't think I want to play an effigy yet. It's also somebody who's running Rainbow, and they got to go second. Like, Rainbow's the only path where they actively want to go second. Oh yeah, they're gonna be on Rainbow aggro. Here come the trapezists. So, I love you, Sapo, but you go away. And I mean, we have 3 serpent's dens. So theoretically, I was gonna say, I don't even know why I try. I was gonna say theoretically we can survive this if they don't get a demolition and we can just chump block with snakes, but naturally that's the very first thing that they get is a demolition speedway. I guess we're gonna throw this back and try to get this in as a blocker, but again, I don't think it's gonna matter a whole bunch. Just give this some placement as well. I think we lose this. Given our hand, I don't think that we have a winning path here. Like, 3 serpent's dens is sometimes fine, but not Not against this deck. And not against Speedway. Again, our entire strategy is to use small creatures to block until you can get to the late game, and that's 2 straight games where Demolition Speedway has denied that, so bit of a bummer. Yeah, they're gonna bring that down with Wyvern. It's like we can make a trade here, but any overrun gets through in that regard. Anyway, and they don't have to trade. They can just do ping, and yeah, this is just not a great hand for this. Ugh. All right, like theoretically, what's the play here? Let's do the old, like, let's pretend that the game isn't 100% over, despite the fact that the game is 100% over. I guess it's something like that. This probably should have moved over here. Oh, and they had the mech. All right, well, that's it. That's it. I mean, we can do this, and then we'll also just create 1 because we can't win. So let's just do something silly there. Let's play recruitment for 1 for maximum memeage. All right, well that was 2 fast games. I feel bad because Fires of Creation again, like, can be, oh yeah, we got hard demoted. Can be very effective, but not against early overrun like that. So double Demolition Speedways against us, a bit rough. Not having removal in our hands, a bit rough. No misanthropias, no... I mean, detained deported isn't great there, but at least would have bought us time. No lead, astray, things like that. So anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And maybe the next video will go a little bit better.